Live from the 301, live from the pot. I want to welcome my audience to episode number 230 of Curry in the Pot. I'm your host, Emmy Got Mike Curry, and I'm back another episode. If you missed last week's episode, man, it was a fun episode. And that episode is a prelude to tonight's episode. Obviously, we talked the Tank Lamont Roach fight, which was an amazing fight. And obviously, now we have a beautiful segue to the post fight. But I got my uncle here. I got Mr. Dave Jacobs III, aka my Uncle Clean, aka Coach Clean. So, first of all, thank you so much for pulling up to the show. It's definitely been a long time coming, but first of all, thank you for coming on. How you doing?
I can't complain, Mike. Like I said, man, all praise to Allah. I give all my praises to Him. And without Allah, I wouldn't even be here today or being able to do some of the things that I do.
That's right. I like to hear that. So, obviously, we had the big fight last weekend, going on almost 2 weeks ago. But obviously, you were in the building, I was in the building. But we're going to rewind a little bit, because from my understanding, I watched the docu series, Reaper's Tale, on YouTube. I watched the whole thing, and you were talking about how you've been going back and forth with them, been working with them for about 10 years. So, talk to me about your role with the team. I know you're one of four trainers that were in the corner, but talk to me about your role with No Excuse.
Well, my role at No Excuse, I'm an assistant coach. Um, it's a lot of great assistants in there, man. We done mold together. I just can remember at one time, man, it was myself, Lamont, and the younger Tim, because there's two Tims in our gym.
Mhm.
I'll say Tim Anderson. And
Okay.
Tim Lamont had asked myself and Tim, all right, he needs somebody to step up. So I was willing to step up. Tim was trying to build his career at the time, so he's a young man. He got a young family, and he's trying to build his career at the time. So
Mhm.
I told him, hey man, I step up. You know what I'm saying? Is we got an amateur team and a pro team. We never stop working with the amateurs. As Daddy would, said, you never stop working with the amateurs. You always keep an amateur team because when the pros once they fall off, because this ain't a career that's gonna last forever.
Right,
You know,
exactly. Got the
yeah,
next
this ain't,
generation to worry about.
yeah, and you truly blessed the last 20 years in boxing. You know,
Mhm.
but like I said, my duty there is an assistant coach, along with some others. I'm not the only assistant coach there.
Yep.
Um, and just pretty much, just making sure things run smoothly, man. We all pitch in, and, we all work together hand in hand.
Okay, for sure. Definitely appreciate your insight on that, man. Because a lot of people don't know. I saw you holding the belt. I saw you in a previous fight. You had on the Reaper mask. You were in the corner. So I just wanted to just wanted the people to get some insight to exactly what you do. So let's move on. I watched the docu series of Reaper's Tale. I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was a great insight to everything you guys were doing. You guys were training in Tampa, and everything it was a nice taste of what you don't really see through a boxer, what they're going through their day-to-day life. But I want to fast forward a little bit to the fights, because obviously we've seen, Lamont in the locker room, you guys in the locker room, you guys getting ready. But talk to me about the day of the fight, from the moment you woke up.
But the day of the fight, we all go through our rituals, man. Of course, man. I wake up to pray. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I do early in the morning. I wake up to pray. That was the first day of Ramadan. So
Mhm.
due to the fact that I can't fast, due to my medical reasons, I can't fast. So I just wake up for prayer, and prayer is obligatory. So, that was my first thing. I woke up that morning. Then I think we went to go get something to eat because
Mhm.
the fighter got to eat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's how they hydrate. You know what I'm saying? A day after the weigh-in, as soon as they, lead the weigh-in, they going to hydrate and all that stuff. But getting back to the day of the fight, we went we went to go get some breakfast.
Hmm.
And that was probably around 10, 11, 10 or 11 o'clock, something like that.
Okay.
Um, we went to go get something to eat. And once we got something to eat, we all came back to the hotel and just relax. For myself, um, I always soak. I soak my body because I'm dealing with some bad knees, bad knees and bad back and some more stuff. But I always soak. That's the first thing that I do. Um, and then lay my clothes out, what we gonna wear to the fights. It's all about preparation, making sure that I got everything that I need, far as assisting the head coach Lamont, like wraps, tape, cornerman stuff. I even have things for the cut man. You know what I'm saying? Just in case if he run out of stuff, you know.
Right.
But it's all about assisting and making sure that the corner got everything that they need. And that's some of the responsibilities that I have taken, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that we got everything that we need, to wrap his hands and make sure everything goes smoothly. It's a team effort. So we all put in.
I love that. I love that. So obviously, the fight arrives. I got there. I got there around the time. I think Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin. They were just. I think they were about in the ninth round. And I got
Hmm.
to see Gary Antoine Russell, who put on a clinic, an absolute
Right,
clinic, pitched the shutout
right.
fight against Raya Valenzuela. But you guys come out. I see you in the corner, Unc, and it made me proud because I'm in the. I'm talking trash with a lot of it's a lot of Tank fans around. We in New York, a lot of Tank.
Right,
I'm saying, hey, that's my uncle down there. That's my uncle, and I
right,
can, I can imagine, that's how my mom felt when she would watch pop up on TV. That's how I felt, and
right,
it was just really cool to see you down there doing your thing, man. But
right.
let's I want to talk about my observations. So I want to shout all of you guys out because you guys had a terrific game plan. I was watching film on the fight earlier, and from what I noticed, and shout out to Hidden Gym Boxing. They had a great YouTube video, and they kind of combined some things that I saw. But from what I saw is so normally how Tank fights go, he'll wait till his opponent tires himself out. But what I saw in the earlier rounds was, oh, we just gonna fight the same fight you fight. You know what I'm saying? Like we just gonna go how you go. Because normally Tank is punting the earlier rounds to his opponent, but I see Lamont and they kind of going at the same pace, so it's kind of hard to score those rounds.
Right.
Whereas Tank's letting his opponent wear down and tire out. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna make for an interesting fight. And not only that, I know it's gonna be interesting because obviously they had the familiarity in the amateurs.
True, true.
This is, to me, in my opinion, this is the first time somebody got in the ring with Tank and they weren't scared. And obviously,
Let me stop you right there.
okay, let's get it.
That was the main thing. Lamont wasn't scared of him. We knew Lamont wasn't scared of him, and we knew that Tank couldn't intimidate Lamont. We
Yep.
already knew that. That along with the game plan,
Hmm.
that was it itself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We knew we was gonna put the pressure on Tank, and that's what we did. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Lamont is a pressure technician. You know what I'm saying? Of course, people he ain't got no punch, he don't got this, but he got a sting to his punch, and he could knock you out if he catch you right. You know what I'm saying? The game plan, man, was his coach, his father. His father had a great game plan, and see, little do people know, his father have coached Tank before
Hmm.
in the
Yep.
amateurs. And if people go back and you know, um, do their research, they'll find out that he coached Tank. So he knew Tank. Look, man, they had Barry from the Headbangers,
Hmm.
and they had Calvin, Kenny, and they had they had a corner of coaches, man, that we all know.
I know. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We all know, and we done went to war with all of them in the amateurs, and now in the pros. You know what I'm saying? But Coach Lamont, I have to, you know, tip my hat off to him, man, because he's a teacher of the game. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He's a student of the game. You know, he study fights. I mean, man, he look at fights. Man, I can't look at fights that much like that. You know what I'm saying? It have to be big fight for me to really
Yeah.
get interested. Because I didn't see really none of the fight card.
Uh-huh.
We was focusing on getting over there, and once we got over there, you know what I'm saying, we did what we had to do. But that was the main thing, man. Lamont wasn't afraid of him. Wasn't no jitters. Most of the time I have jitters um before the fight
Yeah.
or during the fight. This one,
You wouldn't worry.
I ain't feel it. I just knew he was gonna take care of business. I called it. I said we was gonna take him into deep waters. And that's what we did. We took him into deep waters. And nobody else had took Tank into deep waters other than I think it was Pitbull Cruz.
Full cruise. Yep.
Right. So, that was the main thing. Lamont wasn't he ain't fear him. Not at all. If you seen the press conference and everything, Tank ain't disrespect Lamont.
Yeah, and we were talking about that on the last podcast with Aunt Candy and Janisha. We were talking. I said, I notice it's different because Tank not disrespecting Lamont. I've seen Tank press conferences. He's talking to
Hmm.
you guys. He told Frank Martin, "I'm gonna break you up." He told Ryan Garcia, "I'm gonna take you to the deep waters and drown you." He
Hmm.
wasn't saying any of that stuff to Lamont. If anything, he was talking to the crowd, but none of that stuff was directed towards Lamont at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because he knew he couldn't he couldn't press Lamont that way because Lamont, Lamont is actually, man, what a gentleman boxer. You know what I'm saying? He's a gentleman. He's a well mannered young man. He was raised in a good family. Um, but when it come down to getting down to business, he gonna get down to business.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure, for sure. But yeah, like you said, the main thing was he wasn't afraid of him because you see, I'm sure guys get in the ring and they're like, oh shit, it's Tank. Like that's what happens. But I knew Lamont wasn't gonna be afraid of him just because they have that history. But
right?
I want to talk about some of the stuff that I observed while watching, and I'm sure this was part of Coach Lamont's game plan, part of you guys' game plan. So I was watching, and when Tank would have his guard up, Lamont would throw the stiff jab and not really let Tank get any type of rhythm or any type of momentum. And then also I saw when Tank's gloves were below his chin, that's when he was getting ready to throw the left hand, and Lamont was ready for it each time. So could you give a little bit of insight as to what I just said? And I'm sure that was part of the game plan, but
Well, we train to stay tight. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying? Lamont has great defense. You know what I'm saying? And his IQ is is like up there. He's also another, a person that study fights. He look at fights. You know what I'm saying? So his mental toughness and staying tight, man. You know, a fighter's instinct can always pick up on another fighter's, like if he make an error, or he
mhm,
dropping his hands, or he carrying his left low, or he carrying his right low. You know what I'm saying? So, due to the fact that Lamont has a good IQ, he picks up on all of that, and that's
yeah,
how he capitalized on. He capitalized on all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, we wasn't intimidated. You know what I'm saying? He frustrated Tank. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? And he took his best shot, and that's enough to make your opponent afraid. If
yeah,
you hit him with your guns, like you drop off heavy artillery, and he's still standing there. It makes you think a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, that's so true. That's so true. And this was another time so this was for the first time I've seen, you know, Tank's throwing stuff, but Lamont's coming right back. He's fighting fire with fire. And that was another thing that impressed me. And I was telling all the people, man, I said, this ain't Frank Martin. I'm yelling, Uncle. I'm saying, this ain't no Frank Martin, man. Like Lamont's here to win. Like,
Absolutely. And I know during the fight, of course, people say he getting ready to get knocked out this round. He getting
oh,
ready to get
they were
knocked out
saying it
this
each
round.
round, Unc. They
Yeah,
were saying it
yeah,
literally every
yeah.
round.
Yeah, he getting ready to get knocked out this round. Watch, watch, watch. And it never happened.
Never happened.
It never happened because, like I said, we was gonna take him in deep waters. Now, if the knockout came, of course he was gonna get it.
Hmm.
But the knockout didn't come, but we knew he wasn't gonna knock us out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We definitely knew he wasn't gonna knock us out. So, like I said, man, I tip my hat off to the guys, man. We had a hard camp. We trained pretty hard down Tampa, Pro
Hmm.
Box Pro Box Gym. We trained real hard, man, and hey man, it all paid off, man. It paid off. If people don't know Lamont Roach, they know him now.
You know him now. And know him now.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So with everything we've talked about, what we got to talk about. We got to talk about the knee in round 9. You've been around boxing your whole life. I've been around. I'm only 30 years old, but I've never seen anything like that. You talk to me about your reaction, and just talk to me about your reaction still to this day.
Well, man, I do this for our legacy. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? It's to keep Daddy legacy alive. Still, I love the sport, but I don't think I love the sport like Daddy did. You
Yeah.
know, Daddy was, he was very passionate about this sport, and his years of training, and Daddy was a good person also.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He could
Amazing
he
person.
could he could really gel with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was the godly um persona he had. You know what I'm saying? So, um, like I said, I do it for the legacy, man. But in dealing with Lamont, and dealing with Team No Excuse, it's about the love, man. You build relationships there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, as I get older, I know that time is getting to the point that I might have to walk away one day. You know what I'm saying? And I think about that, but it's like it's so hard to let go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's so hard to let go. Um, each day I go to that gym, man, it keeps me closer and closer to Daddy. You know,
Oh, there.
it's no other feeling than that because that's how I can tap into him. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at the fights, I just know he with me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I know he with me. Like I know he always right by my side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I know he proud of me. I know he's smiling. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep doing what I'm doing, man. It ain't over until it's over.
Hmm.
So that's I can't tell you no better than that, man.
In round 9, uh, Tank takes the knee, and he talks about, and he said after the fight, he had hair grease in his eye. Talk to me, because we know the rules. You take a voluntary knee, that's a knockdown. Talk to me about, first of all, what was your reaction when that happened, and now how do you feel now? Because I know you feel that obviously you guys were robbed, because two judges ended up scoring that round 10-9 in favor of Tank. And had it gone the other way, how it's supposed to go, that would have been a 10-8 round in favor of Lamont. So talk to me about that.
Of course. Well, we all know, it's nothing really to discuss because we all know what to take the knee is. You take
Mhm.
a knee, it's a knockdown. It's a 10-8 round. It's a knockdown. Okay. Tank didn't beat that round either.
Right.
They were going at it. But Lamont, everything Tank threw, Lamont was right there, dead on him.
Sure
You know
was.
what I'm saying? So I thought the ref was very biased. Um, we already know. See, this our second rodeo of fighting PBC. They
Mhm.
tried to get us on the Garcia fight, but
Mm.
the knockdown came. All right, so they had to give that fight. Although Lamont was beating the fight, you know what I'm saying? Same thing here with Tank. They wasn't gonna have that cash cow lose that fight, man.
Nope. Nah, they weren't.
You know what I'm saying? It's the politics in boxing. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? It's nothing like the days of yesteryear. Back in the days when Ray was fighting. Back in the days when Muhammad Ali, they was fighting. It's nothing like those days because you could fight back in the day and lose a fight, but turn around and come right back and get you another big payday.
Yeah.
See, today is okay. If you lose, you're not gonna get paid as much money. Tank is a cash cow, man. He could have took that loss and still would have came back and fought the rematch. You know what I'm saying? But I think, honestly, he's just afraid to even take the rematch. We'll see. We'll see how it go. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? You know what I'm saying? But he know the Reaper ain't scared of him. The Reaper ain't scared of him. The Reaper don't fear him or nobody else.
For sure. Yeah, and I think Tank's a great fighter, but my biggest critique on him was, he doesn't fight the best, and he finally fought. He finally met his match. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
finally met a great fighter in Lamont Roach, and obviously these other guys. I've always classified them as C and B minus fighters, and you got Lamont, who's a great fighter. So again, he finally met his match. So with that being said, what were your thoughts? I guess you kind of said it, but if you have any final thoughts, what were your final thoughts on the decision?
Some thoughts on the decision. I know I had picked Lamont winning by decision. That was my pick
Yeah.
um before the fight. I said Lamont gonna win by decision. We're gonna take him to 12 and we gonna win by decision. That's what really happened.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
really, really happened. But the judges, of course, saw something different, and I don't know what they was looking at. Plus the ref, he was in the pocket too. So my final thoughts about the fight, I wasn't mad.
mm,
Normally I'd be mad, but I wasn't mad because of the performance that Junior did. His performance was outstanding. He fought an outstanding fight. He stood right there in that boy face, Tank
mhm.
face. I don't want to call him boy, but let me straighten that out. He stood right in Tank face, and he gave Tank the fight of his life.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so once they called it the first round for Tank, and then they said the draw, I knew they was going. I knew where they was going after that. So, but like I said, disappointed about the outcome, but not the performance.
Yeah, no, the performance. I'm telling you, it was amazing. Like I really to me, and obviously I know millions of people tuned in, but for me, you had to be there. Like you just had to be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I want
Absolutely.
to I want to do a quick pivot because obviously there's more fighters in No Excuse. So I wanted to get your thoughts on some of the other fighters you guys got coming up. I know you guys got Lamont's younger brother, Jordan the Iceman Roach. You guys got guys like Ben Johnson, and I'm sure you guys have a bevy of other fighters coming up too. But talk to me about some of the other fighters you guys got coming up.
You forgot one.
Who
Her
else have?
name Rihanna Rios.
I was gonna say a young lady. I don't remember her name, but
Yeah,
I've seen you guys. I've seen you post her before, and I've seen you at some of her fights, some in the corner of some of her fights.
yeah, Rihanna. She getting ready to fight for a world title soon.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's in the makings. Um, Benjamin, Jordan Roach, and we got a slew of amateurs, man. We got we
Mhm.
got we got some good amateurs, man. That's coming up. Two of our top amateurs, they went to college.
Okay.
Marcel Steele, Rashad Robinson, they stepped off and went to college. Not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You know, um, we over there to help save lives. To help keep kids off the streets because the streets they sucking kids up and putting them in the grave. You know what I'm saying? The grave or jail. So we over there trying to help save lives. And we welcome all, you know, newcomers, people that just want to train, people that might not want to box, that just want to come over there and learn. We welcome all that. Um, but getting back to Ben and Jordan is about to fight. I think it's April the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. April the 12th at Live, the
Okay.
casino at Live. They fighting on a pro box card over there. They're gonna have a couple fighters from the area, fighting on that card. Um, I don't know the particulars. I believe Jordan White is fighting on that card. Another super featherweight.
Mhm.
Um, he's fighting on that card. And like I said, I don't know the particulars of that card, but um, it should be a nice card. Should be a nice
Okay.
card. And
Okay.
the Iceman, he speaks for himself. Very, very courageous young man. Um, Jordan is definitely the full package. He like to thump like his brother. He'll stay right there in the pocket. He don't do a whole lot of running. You know what I'm saying? He got he got this speed dial. He be from one speed to another. You
Mhm.
know, Ben, big welterweight. He can hit real hard. Um, he's still coming. He's on his way. But as these are young pros. And it's always a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? But they not new. They not new to the game. They
Right.
are they are national champions. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Amateur national champions. And I'm not saying just Jordan is also like a international champion. You know what I'm saying? Ben didn't go on that stage to fight. Nah, hold up. Did Ben ever? I'm not sure. But anyway, they are national champions. You know what I'm saying? They don't fought numerous um national championships. I
Oh,
think Jordan might have had like 8 or 9, and Ben had something like 12. I could be wrong, but their numbers are way up there. So
yeah.
the pro game is gonna be um the only thing about the pros, man, you get more rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You fighting 3 rounds in the amateurs, 3 minute, 3 rounds. Um Now you step over to the pros, 3 minutes, 4, 6, 8,
8, 10,
10, 12. And you know what I would love to see? I would love for them to go back to 15 rounds.
15.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah.
I would love for them to go back to 15 rounds because a lot of these guys out here is fighting these 12 rounders. They not ready for 15. But
Yeah.
I tell you one guy I know that's ready for 15. The Reaper.
he said, I believe it was on he was on there with Ocho and Shannon on the nightcap, and he was saying, he spars, 14, 15 rounds.
Hey, well, man, look, we get it in. Man, I believe in it. That's something I believe in. I done seen the likes of Ray Leonard. I done seen the Aaron Prize. I done seen the Tommy Hearns. You know what I'm saying? So Daddy worked with all of them. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So I had a chance to see a lot of them spar back in the day. So um I know what it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um and Lamont is one of those young men that he can do 15, man.
Yeah.
He can do 15. You know what I'm saying? Um I know he can do 15 because that's how in shape he is.
Yeah.
He don't complain, man. He just get the work done. He get the work done, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about in the gym sometimes, man, 2 and 3 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah, man. 7 days a week, bruh. No rest days.
Mm.
That's championship training, man. You know what I'm saying? That's championship training. And that's what he did, man. He trained hard, man, and I tip my hat off to him, man. I love him, man, like he's my own son. You know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do. And every time we get into the next fight, he do what he got to do
Yes, sir.
because he want stardom just as bad as anybody. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? He know he belong up there, and
Definitely does.
so he proved this point, and I believe this is going to open up some good avenues for him.
Oh yeah.
You know, the rematch if if Tank decide that he want to do it. So I think that'll be a big payday for Lamont. You know,
Yeah,
he deserve it, man. Been in the game for a long time, man. So he deserve it, man. People want to feed their families, man, and that's what it's all about.
for sure. Yeah, I'm glad to finally see him, finally see him get his just due. You know what I'm saying? He's been around,
Yeah,
definitely been around for a while. And
yeah,
sometimes it just takes people a little longer, but I'm glad it's happening now. I can at least say that. So
right.
I got one more thing for you, Unc, before we get out of here. And you said it in the docu-series, and obviously, our family knows this quote very, very well. You know, you can't cook with cold grease, it got to be hot. So obviously, obviously, for the people who don't know the quote, obviously you can't cook. But what does that quote mean to you? Like, what exactly does it mean to you beyond obviously you can't cook anything with, the grease is cold. But what does that quote exactly mean to you?
Well, like I said, that quote come from your granddad or my daddy.
Great granddad.
Yeah, you can't cook with cold grease. It got to be hot. And in that saying, the fighter got to be warm before he go out there and fight. That's something that in the dressing room you see fighters warming up.
Hmm.
You see fighters getting ready before they get ready to go out there. This is break. You got to break that sweat, man. You got to get warmed up, man. You can't go out there cold. You go out there cold, man. You gonna take a round or two or three or four to warm up. You know what I'm saying? So Daddy had put that into a saying. You can't cook with cold grease. It got to be hot. And that's what I get from that.
Yeah.
I never knew what he meant from it because I never asked him. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? But there's so many things that I to this day, if Dad was still alive, I would truly, truly be asking him. You
same here.
know, um, the man had a great mind for boxing, um, and fathering. just a all around good person, man. You know, um, and if I would have listened to him, when I was coming up, I could have been a world champion myself. You know what I'm saying? Um, but that's what that means to me, man. You can't cook with cold grease. It got to be hot.
For
You
sure.
know, it means yeah, it got to be hot.
So you just made me think of one more thing before I get out of here, and I was telling this to Aunt Candy and Janisha last week. Um, so Pop Up, obviously before he passed, my mom and I we would go see him from time to time. My mom more so than me, and she let him listen to my podcast before. And I wasn't, really messing with boxing the way I'm messing with it now, because obviously, I really like boxing. A lot of the guys, a lot of the top guys, they're around my age. Tank is 30. You got Lamont's 29. Shakur Stevenson, I think he's 27. A lot of these guys are around my age, so I really love it. But Pop Up did tell me, he said, keep talking. He told my mom to pass that to me, and I'm glad I'm talking still. And that leads us to our conversation tonight. So, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your time.
No problem. No problem, man. Had
Yes,
to
sir.
give back. Had to give back.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, we can get Lamont Roach Senior, Lamont Roach Junior. Maybe we could get them on or something, man. Maybe you could hook a brother up or something like that, man.
I told you, man. Look, I'm not gonna do the work for you. You got to do the work.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do
All
it.
you got to do, I'm gonna tell you, the best thing to do is tap into their social media and send them a text, and you can use my name. Sure, I'm Clean's nephew, and
For
I
sure.
I got a podcast, and I just wanted to do. Could I do a little short interview with you?
For sure.
I
Yeah,
told you Lamont.
we gonna
Lamont
get
had said he would have. Lamont said before the fight when you asked me the first time, I said my nephew want to do an interview with you. He said, "Sure, man. Just tell him, give me a holler. We'll set it up." And like I told you, what I'm saying. When you want to do stuff like that, you just got to go out there and get it. You got to go get it. Don't wait for nobody to give you a handout. Don't wait for nobody to set nothing up. You gotta go get it. You got my name, just use
For sure. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
it.
you
Yeah.
dropping that wisdom on me for sure, man. But thanks again, Thank you for coming on the show. To my audience, episode number 230 is done. Peace.
Later, Mike.